ATCBN. I set the starting time and the stop time for the battery that I will use. Most enterprises a 24-hour working organization. So I think it's very rare to use. Maybe in a hotel, maybe in a hospital, but not in the military, for example. You will not call police and say, police say, sorry, we are out of office hour. This is an important subject which is related for outgoing CLI. The CLI must be in the same range of the number of block issued by a provider. However, sometimes the provider block the outgoing call after this number. That means, if you try with ISDN to call a number, to throw a number which is not a part of your DID range, the carrier will simply block you. They will not allow you to make outgoing call. And this is called a clip number screen. I would like to screen. With the clip screening, CLI is invalid, depending on the provider, and it can be rejected. And clip no screening signal is not yet supported by anything for the incoming call. For the outgoing is there, but the point here of not supporting the numbering screen for incoming call, we have a feature in ISDN. I'm here, let's say, let's say, with Hulk somewhere in the Red Sea or whatever. I'm calling police in Dubai saying that there is a bomb in Dubai. And this number is showing in the police display private number because we don't know Hulk where he's sitting now. You can imagine that simply if you call a police and police don't know your number. It's a really a disaster. So most of the ISDN for the military, they have a feature called presentation, restriction, override. That means if I'll call anyone, it's okay. You can display the number. You cannot display the number. But if you call the police will decode your private number to your real number. That's why the incoming screening is not officially supported. Because this kind of feature is not a public feature. Some hotels, they ask I don't want to receive a call from unknown caller. I need to know each and every number. If the carrier send the presentation restriction override component, we could read it. But if the carrier won't allow, we cannot do it. Technically, when clip no screening is activated, first CLI line provided by the user, which attribute or user provided not screen. Second CLI, the number determined from the provider, attribute as a network provider number screen. That means I have 0469 as network screen. That means my number should start all the time with this number. So whatever I manipulate and change, immediately the carrier will reject my code. If I said I would like to do an ACMB and ACND 0569, the carrier say you are not part of this. You are related for this network. And if my real number starts from 1000 to 1299, and I select 3000, the carrier look again. He has this number 0469 3000, and he's not allowed to use this number, so block him again. And this is related for the number screening. So you have to ask your carrier, do you allow or not? By chance, could be possible. Especially for the ISDN, the idea is a little bit well organized. But with SIP, there is a lot of a presentation except the clip. With SIP, there is a lot of other presentation, so you can override the carrier restrictions. Basically, for ISDN, it's well organized. I will talk now about the supplemental feature of ISDN. Maybe it's not interesting for all of you, maybe it's a little bit a new subject for you, but it's also interesting. With the MGBRI or MGBS rate or binary, and also UG50 and BRTC card, we have a lot of ISDN functionality, a lot. And if you go for the manuals, you will find the ISDN manual. It's really talking about each and every feature that you can apply with ISDN. I highlighted here some feature that you could use. One of them is the ITSI addressing, ITSI ISDN addressing, and the other one is overlap over block sending, and the other one identification services. ITSI addressing identification is really impressive feature for Middle East, because you can think about a lot of tandem connection, a lot of pass-through, and you can control everything in between. Overlap sending is a kind of European feature for the people who would like to use ISDN like a COT. ISDN like a COT. Normally COT, you dial 9, you receive a dial tone. Then you dial the number, one by one by one by one, then you have to wait a little bit, then it will immediately start to call outside. In the ISDN, you dial the number, it's immediately go. There is no wait to. So some people in Europe, they would like to go for overlap sending. Some machinery system, they only accept overlap sending. They don't accept any block sending. So it's also good to know about. Also, channel negotiation, that I would like to negotiate my details before I allow handshaking between two nodes, and advice of chart. ITSI addressing or addressing is started really with SV85S5, and we need to copy the parties. I mean, I want to add my country code, my area code to my clip. I can, if a carrier allow me, and carrier type of number and network number representation allow me to do this. Since SL3 addressing feature work with a new method. In the old days, we have only AC and BAC and DAC and ACL, but from this version of SL3 till SV95, V5, we have a new presentation called listed number there. We will talk about it later. Here how it looks like. My area code as a caller, my country code is 39 and my area code is 35 and my local office code is 698. If the station dial this number with the access code 0, the setup message, I mean the content of the setup message, saying that you are using ISDN standard. E164 is the ISDN standard. And you need to send your national representation. Not your unknown number, not the simple number that you created by the carrier. You want to send this national number, and this is the digit. And the dial number also using the ISDN standard, and you would like to call the complete number in ISDN in national number, and this is the number. So 95 will add these codes to the dialing message. Meaning you have to make a surgery for the setup message, and look, your number would like to be sent as a ISDN number. The number that you would like to send is again ISDN number. Maybe you say, I want to present myself as an ISDN number, but I would like to call the number by subscriber. I don't want to call inside my village the complete international number. I would like only the subscriber number, but I want to show these guys my international number. It's also possible, because you are making a surgery for the setup message, and in the setup message you decide what you will send. Some people said, yeah, it's too much, I want to simplify it. Simply, numbers like my subscriber, I will repeat the example from the board, 39 35 6 8 9 and 2 2 0 0. If you have this representation of the number, or this representation of the number, or this representation of the number, or this representation of the number, I'm talking about ISDN, it could be possible to make this surgery. But if the carrier said, no, here you have 0 0, here you have 0, here you will have a plus, for example, or here you will have nothing, here you will have nothing. This kind of presentation cannot be edited. This kind of presentation started with, for example, plus, you cannot edit, because the carrier decided already what could be the national access code, decided already what could be the international access code. some carrier allow to send you this representation. In the old days, the carrier was sending this formats only. But now, the carrier is sending with a format that you can make this surgery for this download. Make it simple. This feature is an advanced ISDN feature, and you really need it if you have a tandem networking and ISDN networking. Maybe you said, yeah, now I don't use ISDN in my country. Okay. If you understand this kind of messaging, it will be much more easier for you to understand it. So don't say I don't need it now. Maybe you will reuse the same concept and functionality and the surgery that we do it for this stuff messages for SIM transfer.
But we need it for incoming. How to do it?
Yeah, this is a good question, Abdullah. I'm here doing a surgery for setup message, whatever is incoming or outgoing. I can do. Because the presentation, your number representation can be edited from and network number plan identifier that you are using. This is not the only type, Abdullah. There is many other types. And this is not the only type of number that you want to simulate this complete number. Maybe you want only to edit your subscriber number. You don't need anything else. I need only to edit my subscriber number. So. How to enable this feature in the system? It's very easy, by the way. You go for ARTIN and in CDN 32, the value should be 128. And this is the only value in ARTIN that you have to do it 128. Either it's 1, 2, 1, 0, 2, 3, 4. This index, ARTIN 32, bit 7 should be 1, that means 128. The value should be equal to 128, not 8. It's 128. Then you have to say what the type of number you would like to send and what the plan identifier you would like to send. And this is before you touch this item, you have to ask your carrier. Do you like to send, I send for you unknown format and you manage it? You would like to go with unknown network plan and you manage it? Or I must send my number international format. And I must send my number as a subscriber number. Based on this, you have to edit. Normally, by default, it's 00. That means you are only sending unknown format. That means you will send the number as you dial it, like this say 056499369. You send this number as it is. You don't need any manipulation here. So just push that number as it is. And also, in the setup message, you don't add any national code, international code, or anything. This is unknown format. International, that means this number is 056. I have to delete this digit and plus 00971 56 blah blah blah. So I could do this surgery here if the carrier asked me to do it, or the Avaya system, or the other party asked me to do it. Maybe I don't want to go for maybe, but look at this network. We have 4 systems, and all of them are connected via ISDN. Let's say QC. You want if this 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000. You want this system which be 2,000 if they call in this direction to show the number 1, which is our access code to this direction, 2,000. And if they call to this direction to show 2,000. It's the same subscriber number. And if this go tandemly through this to show 2,000. That means in each and every direction and in each and every hop I can manipulate. Some people say, yeah, I don't need this. It's okay. Just understand the concept that you are capable to do. And this is based on a 2 simple concepts. Type of number and network plan identifier. I am sure in the 3rd year of university you study this. Here is also from the manual copy, just to make it simple. What could be the number if I select 0? What could be the number if I select international or national? Maybe the carrier say, what you are asking about? You are trying to set up the call, but the call is not really able to set up because the carrier restricts that you have to send only with the national format. So the carrier asks, if you ask some carrier, what is your tone and NBI, they say, immediately say this, because they are not really understanding the logic behind ISDN. They receive a black box of ISDN, but no one asks what this box contains. And it's happening with many carriers. And the representative viewer of most of the carriers, they do not really understand this kind of details. So simply just make a copy from the manual. This is the number of representation that we could have. Can you comply with us? Can you tell us which number of we'd like to send for you? Clear? I can go deeper if I enable addressing. I can go deeper here. I'm just deciding to, based on the carrier component, what carrier set up for me to add this two number. I will dial this number only because my unknown number is like this. And this old component I will receive from the carrier. All the time I receive the carrier. Sometimes I say no, I would like to set up my codes if the carrier allows me. So I have to enable an ARTIN index 85, which is the addressing. That means I really enable that I'm able to set up the contents and the details of my MBI and tone. AMSGN is mainly used to set up for a specific OBR. That means if I have in my system, for example, I will keep this example, by the way. If I dial 1, I dial this direction 9, 1000, in this direction 9, 3000, in the other direction 9, 4000. So in AFRSN, I said this is OBR number 1, OBR number 2, OBR number 3. OBR number 3 again. This will go in for route number 1, this will route for route number 3, this for route number 3. I just, based on the OBR in command AMSGN, I said this OBR will have type of number national, type of number international, or I just make it unknown. So I even can customize it based on the very specific OBR, not for all the calls, not based on the route. It also can be drilled up to level of single OBR, and this can be drilled more. But basically, if you would like to go in a specific destination, you need a specific behavior. You cannot make it randomly, even the very advanced telecom network. You would like to have a unified destination or unified behavior for your stations, for this direction. So you could do it in the AMSGN. That means for this specific OBR, I would like to show this number. Now, in command ACODN, you can say what you would like to send there. And in command ASFCN, the same. You would like to add your international and national prefix number to the number. If you already enable AMSGN and you said I need international representation, and my international representation is ISDN, and I said the ACOND, my national and my international representation, I can enable for this specific class of user if they are allowed to use this or not. Again, it can be drilled down system-wise, route-wise, OBR-wise, station-wise, based on the class of service. For more details, go for the basic. I will show you something because I know it can be simplified, because all of this information are really useful. One of my friends in Russia, his name is Victor. He's a very good engineer, by the way, and he have this network. And our friend Victor have a lot of requirements from this customer for this network. Here, his system, and in each and every node, each and every row is a different type of network. He would like to display different caller ID. And also, if this system connected to a SIP network, he would like again to display a different caller ID for the SIP user for the complete network. So his system is acting like a tandem node for the complete network to the SIP network. He have one asterisk system here connected for, not the asterisk system, it was a dispatcher for public radio aging. And all of this user is passing through the system to go outside to SIP network. So he would like to manipulate the SIP calls which coming to this complete network, and again he would like to manipulate the calls from network to the SIP network. So I asked him, are you really serious that you will go to do all of this? My interest is very simple, very, very simple. I don't want to look to a big story. I would like to make it simple. I will assume that you have four types of network. Four types of network. You have CCIS over IP and ISDN. Also, I just removed the QSIG. And you have SIP network. So basically, all the big picture that you see, I just summarized the three types. ISDN, SIP, and CCIS. This is the type of network that we have. How many systems connected via CCIS? To apply the same rule. How many systems connected via ISDN? Again, the same rule. How many SIP network? The same. Let's assume after 10 years, he decided to have 5 SIP networks for 5 different destinations. System should be able to manipulate, right? And Victor's question was, I would like to manipulate this number if he called in the 3 direction. And also, I would like to manipulate this number if he called in this 3 directions. And I would like to manipulate this number if it's called from this 3 direction. And I would like to manipulate this number if it's called from this 3 destination. So it's a multi-point to multi-point behavior. He would like to manipulate the number in each and every destination. And this is a customer requirement. By the way, this is oil and gas network. And the number representation is very important. And most of this setup are hotlines only. So the user not allowed to do anything. He just left the handset, and if he left the handset, they could stop the operation of all the rig. They can stop the complete operation. So the customer requirement is just not a fancy requirement. It's really a requirement that if you receive a call from this hotline, that means there's a disaster in the middle of the sea. You understand what I mean? Some people say, yeah, a lot of customers asking for this. At least understand the logic behind. If you could understand the logic, any kind of networking that have a D channel, like DPI, like ISDN, basic rate, SIP, CCIS, you could understand it carefully. And you will not face any real problem even in the troubleshooting of this kind of network. Most of the people have a lack of knowledge of this because it's a kind of out-of-date information. We study in the university, but we never use it again after. So it's the time to trigger it out in a specific way. I don't need you to memorize everything. I don't want you even to try to memorize. I want you just to understand that you have this capability. How you are going to implement, you remember the picture before. This was vector network, right? And we simplified for 3 systems, right? And there is also much more better, easy way to simplify. Okay, this was the behavior, and also it's important to show you how Victor explained the problems. He said, if I call it from a station of SV85 to SIP, it's okay. If ARTD and CDN6 equal 1, I can see the number with ACDD, and CDN is okay. Or the label in red is a question mark for him. And here all his trial and setups. And for each and every kind of core, he could provide 4 traces. He could provide ISMC trace, he could provide Wireshark trace, he could provide Decon, he could provide some additional FTP CB trace. So at least I received all the information the same day. It cost me maybe around 3 days to study this case. But the next day he got a solution. And the solution was like this. The solution was to use the feature that we was discussing since morning. You remember this one. You remember this one, right? Yes. So I could set up in my lab 4 systems. And here is a summary of connectivity. If TCL equal 1, that means CDN6 equal 1, he will not get a caller ID for this kind of network. If he make outgoing call from his system, from SIP to ISDN, from CCIS, from ISDN, this is the call behavior. Again, with ACDD, with TCL4, with TCL4 again with ACDD, ITSI without ACDD, ITSI with ACDD, and here is the complete system behavior with this. You can see here, from his extension, for 3 different destinations, he could show different number. And the total number of changes, it's here. At least for him, he could identify the behavior of the system. I will not go deep in details in this because I'm going to study more that this subject, if you look in the manual, may be around 100 pages. 3 pages is explanation, 3 pages is just explanation, and the remaining pages are just examples. What you can do with this feature. It's just an example with the exact number. So don't think that this is too much for you. Don't think it's so difficult. You have a lot of examples in the manual. It's really well described example. Not because I write it, but it's good example. By the way, in the old courses of routing, this was mandatory to discuss this subject in details. But what we noticed that the people say, yes, it's a nice feature, it's a powerful feature, but we really don't use it daily. So what we noticed, all this question related for this material, few people could answer. So I just add here a kind of guidance, and again, in exam or in reality, I don't want to examine your memory. You have a manual, read it carefully.
We before implement more than 120 PBX over all the kingdom in Germany, the north. Like this,
Yeah, you can. I can show you another networks, a lot of networks, that especially for the ISDN, people start with the basic requirement, but it's really going advanced. Once they are connected to Avaya, to NAC, to Cisco. Nowadays, SBC have a ISDN functionality, but not up to this level. And if you have a customer who is oriented to NAC, to ISDN, you can easily convince him of it. Because he could not find all of this feature and manipulation with other vendors. It's really difficult, even with SBC. In block sending, I will summarize it, not go deep in detail because I know in block sending is not. In block sending is the one that we use, that we normally send all the digits in the setup message, So we don't wait for send digit by digit. We don't use digit by digit. So I will just skip this part. But here, just to make more easy, setup message in the normal ISDN setup will come up with a setup acknowledge, and in this setup message you will receive the complete number that you layer. But in overlap sending, you will keep receiving info messages. Each and every info message means this is a digit. It's like exact behavior of normal COT. Some people like to use it. To enable it, you just have to enable overlap sending in the RTI, and also number of digits get called in the setup message. And the access code should be LCRS, not LCR. Some machinery, again, they are using only LCRS, not LCR. So be careful if you would like to integrate with anyone. Each channel negotiation that provide that each channel negotiation is connected before the ISDN confirm connecting. This is to prevent collisions. Normally, if I have a 30 channel and I have a modem with 30 channel, so I just negotiate with my carrier. Do I have incoming call in this direction? So, or I can go, I am using channel number 1, I will go from the channel number 1 also there. It's a kind of negotiation. If channel number 1 in my carrier side is busy, I could like go for another channel. Not all the ISDN carriers support channel negotiation, and I think it's much more better if you connect with any third party system to enable channel negotiation. Because you don't know their capability, so better to negotiate with them if they are capable to allow us to overflow with peer-to-peer relation or not. Sometimes, this is for incomplete there. Nah, I don't think so. It will work here because that this incomplete there, for example, my number is 056-499-3698. Okay? If I dial this number and I stop, what carrier will do? Yeah. Or you can enable in the over ISDN, since this number is only related for Hawaii Steel, just route it to the operator of Hawaii Steel. I don't think so it's used. It's only, I think it's a very special Caribbean country. This is also an interesting subject, which is calling line identification presentation. It's you want to restrict